get punched.
So how's it going, boys? I feel so unprepared.
Isn't that how the show usually goes? Not being prepared at all.
Okay, we need to fix
Usually
that,
I have
though.
notes.
Telling ourselves that we were going to be prepared and then not
Okay, but
ending up
usually
prepared.
I have notes. This time I have nothing.
I mean, this is solid podcast material right here. Solid.
You're very prepared as well.
I played Overwatch
You dumb bitch.
and Final Fantasy 15 and read a lot of fan fiction.
Right.
Yeah.
You read a lot of fan
I
fiction?
did.
Oh, tell us about the fan
Too
fiction.
much. I don't want to.
Alright.
You don't want to tell us about your Ichigo and Grimjaw fan fiction?
I really would
It's
rather
okay.
not.
'Cause I'll talk about my fan fiction when we get to it.
Okay.
Alright.
You know what? Let's forego the intro. Tell us about the fan
Oh my
fiction.
god.
All right, Paige, what fan fiction smut did you read this week?
Okay. So, I was reading this one fan fiction, and it was a polyamorous relationship like the Eagles. Yeah?
Oh
Alright.
boy.
And, yeah.
Take us back to the Eagles.
But at one point, the girl, which I guess is the reader, wasn't involved. Like, she was, like, away, I don't know, at the convenience store. And the two guys were, like, talking to each other, and they were about to get, like, sexy without the girl, which is fine. But they were, like, throwing some history at you to be like, this isn't all just, like, supposed to be, like, a sex fic. There's going to be some plot. Part of the plot was that the two guys had tried to be in a relationship before the girl was involved, but it just wasn't working out. And when they added her, it started working out, because, I don't know, magic.
It be like that sometimes.
I mean, the
It
Eagles.
really do.
The Eagles, though. But
Eagles didn't need magic. It just happened.
they were both these two, like, really kind of, like, I wouldn't say, like, over-masculine guys. They were just kind of, like, you know,
Twinks.
they weren't twinks, but they were definitely, like,
Soy
Twonks.
boys?
not soy boys. They're not overly masculine, but they were, like, masculine, you know?
Okay.
So they
It
were
wasn't like
JoJo
testosterone.
characters.
So it was like a twunk.
What the fuck is a
It wasn't,
twonk?
like, testosterone dripping or anything like
Between a
that.
twink
It was
and a
just,
hunk.
like, yeah, we're a dude,
twink and a
definitely.
Dude.
And
Saw, dude.
Saw, dude.
And they were like, you remember, like, old times? Like, one of the guys was leaning to the other guy, he was like, you remember old times when it was just you and I? Princess? And I was like, oh my god! They threw the princess at me, and I was like, what the fuck is happening?
You really dropped the ball on that one.
Oh my god.
Princess.
It had been, like, 8 chapters of just, like, no princess involved. And suddenly, they threw princess at me to one of the guys.
That's how they get you.
Oh,
He likes being called princess, and I was like, okay. And
Was
I
he then like my queen?
No.
Unfortunately.
No, I was calling him daddy.
Even better if you ask
I
me.
love when there's a surprise that's not mentioned in the tags.
It
until
wasn't
you're-
mentioned at all. I was already invested.
Yeah, and then you just...
And then I was like, oh god.
It's like sunk cost, right?
It's at like this point, I might as well keep on reading.
Oh god.
I might as well
Finish it
delve
to the
past the
bitter end.
princess and daddy to the bitter end.
Oh, I pity you.
See, I wasn't even expecting the daddy thing either, because they hadn't made the girl call him daddy.
Well, what expectations did you have after Princess?
None.
I was just like, anything's fair game now. Just basically
Daddy.
anything. I was like, maybe there was going to be a mommy involved. I don't know.
You really just hurt me with that.
I don't like the daddy mommy stuff. It wigs me out. I'm not into it.
Wigs you
It
out?
wigs me out.
Tear out your wig. You've been
Wigs
wigged out.
snatched.
Neck snout.
Next round.
And another story I was
Uwu.
reading, they advertised it as a yandere fic, but it wasn't a yandere fic.
Well, that's how most advertising goes,
It was like,
to be honest.
it was more of just like this is a fucked up situation, and this isn't a yandere, this is just like a psychopath, you know? where I know that sounds like the same thing, but yandere's motivations are because, like, they're in love with someone.
Same difference.
This person's just fucking crazy.
Okay,
No love
but-
involved, just
Those
insanity.
two things aren't mutually exclusive. Usually the yandere is fucking crazy.
Yes, but the yandere isn't always, like, a serial killer or something, you know?
I see.
There's different types of yanderes. Y'all guys don't know this.
Oh, tell us
No,
all about it.
Please tell us.
You want me
I didn't know there were different
This is
levels of
There are
yandere.
sub-yanderes.
Fucking
Sub
go.
yandere.
That are just clingy, and they just manipulate you into staying with them. 'Cause it's like,
Okay.
they're really clingy, but anyway, let's get on to the story.
No,
There's
tell
this
us more
girl-
about
no,
yanderes.
I'll have to make some notes. I'll come back
Tell
on
us
another
about
podcast,
yandere
and I'll
culture.
educate y'all about the different yanderes. Alright? You feel me?
I want a full lecture,
I'll
2 hours.
give you a full 2-hour lecture.
Give me 200,000 words.
I'll write an essay.
I want a book.
But there's this girl, and she had been with this guy for 2 years, and she felt like he was about to propose to her, and she was really excited, and he did end up proposing to her. And she's like, yes, however, I have not met your parents. You have not let me meet your parents. It's been 2 years. I would like to meet them before we get married, right?
Why hasn't this guy met the parents before?
She hasn't met his parents.
Oh.
Mm-hmm. Because he would always just be like, no, no. And then after a
No.
while, she was like, okay, sensitive subject. I won't bring it up because he seems to get mad or annoyed at me. And finally, when she asked him again after he proposed, he was like, yeah, sure, I'll call my mom. And,
What
apparently,
happened?
he's super rich, and his family owns their own, like, private island. And he was like, yeah, we're going to go to this private island to meet my parents. And I was like, that's horrifying.
Is this like Twilight?
And she knows on this private island that they have, he doesn't go there often anymore. He used to go there when he was a kid to vacation a lot, but now he just goes hunting there with his dad. And she
Suspicious.
goes there. I know. And so she goes there, and he's like, my parents will arrive in 2 days, so whatever. We'll just have the house to ourselves and my butler. And I was like, okay. And the butler's like real spooked all the time. He's like, oh, hello. And she's wandering
Hello.
around, and she was like, why is the butler so fucking scared? What a weirdo. And I'm like, girl, you're stupid.
Swim away now.
I'm like, chance it in the water. Let the sharks eat you. Whatever's about to happen is not going to be nice. When she finds a door locked down in the basement. And her fiance said that she could explore all she wanted. But once she
Boy.
left his side, he was like, hey, where'd you go? And she's like, this door is locked. That's weird. And she went back upstairs, and he's like, hey, you good? She's stupid. There's obviously something bad locked in there. I don't know. And so she goes to bed that night. And the next day, his parents are supposed to be there or something, you know. And as she's sleeping in bed, she hears the door open. And her fiance's in bed with her. And she looks over, and there's the butler, and he's like, psst. Hey. And she's like, what the fuck? He's like, meet me downstairs. And she doesn't wake up her fiance for some reason, because I would have already been like, I would have waken up my fiance. I'm like, the butler wants to meet us, wants to meet him downstairs, and I would have died.
You would have died.
Because I would have been stupid, right?
Just like the girl in this story.
Mm-hmm. And she goes downstairs, and he's like, you gotta leave. You gotta leave before the game begins.
The game.
And she's like,
Oh.
the game? What the fuck are you talking about? He's like, you have to trust me. We gotta be quiet. We have to get you off the island somehow. You have to leave him. He will hurt you. And she's like, what the fuck are you talking about? He's like, let me show you that door that you were trying to look at earlier. She's like, what? And they open up the door and they go inside. And inside this little basement room is like bows, like crossbows, and like guns, and like shit like that lining the walls.
Okay, this sounds like this one story and I think the rest of us read in high school. I forgot what it's called. It's like The Ultimate Game.
It's
Or
probably based on
The Greatest Game, where like this guy goes to an island and the guy who lives on it's fucking crazy and hunts big game, and the people
This
who are
is
on the
very
island.
similar to that, yes.
You know, there's also a serial killer who did basically the same thing.
That's fucked up.
Yeah, so he would like kidnap women and then just release them in the wild, and then he would track them down and shoot them.
This is
and I
pretty
think
much
some of them were prostitutes too.
This is pretty much that, but it's a little different.
A little different.
They pull off the fucking thing on the wall, like the curtain, and it reveals instead of like deer heads, it's human heads. And some are rotten.
Classy.
Okay.
And she, like the fucking idiot she is, she starts screaming her head off.
Oh.
And the butler's like, shh, you're gonna fucking wake him and get us killed, you dumb bitch. I would have just left her ass after that point. I was like, never mind, she's too stupid. This is like Darwinism.
I wasn't
don't even
involved.
know.
The butler didn't show her this.
No,
Natural
I was like,
selection.
I throw the key in her hand down like she beat me up and took it from me. But as soon as she immediately turns around and starts running away, and he's like, no, we gotta get you out of here. And she runs into her fiance, who's like, what you doing?
Pulls out gun.
And that's when the butler runs up. He's like, you have to leave. And he's like, oh shit, the fiance's here. And he's like, I'll deal with you later, butler. And he's like, okay, goodbye. And completely abandons this girl.
Good on him.
And she starts...
He's smarter than she is.
Yes. He starts arguing with her. Like, she starts arguing with him as if this is a lover spat, right? And she's like, why do you have human heads down there?
No.
And he's like, I can fully explain to you why I have human heads.
No.
Just casually.
And she's like, really? And he goes, yes. Me and my dad go hunting a lot. And she's like, hunting people? And he's like, yes, obviously.
Don't you hunt people? Oh, sweet fiance of mine.
And he was like, in fact, tonight when midnight happens, I'm gonna hunt you. And she's like, why?
so is he... Wait, so is this guy just casually explaining to her that he hunts people for fun, for sport?
It's okay, though, because...
Oh, it's okay.
Once sunrise hits at, like, 5:25 a.m. or whatever, and you're still alive, that means you win, and the game's over, and I'll never have to hunt you again. Because, you see, it's a tradition in my family that when we want to get married to somebody, we have to prove that they're strong enough to be in our family. So we take them to the island and we hunt them.
Only the strongest can marry.
Mm-hmm. And if you live,
Darwinism,
we can
the
get
game.
married. And he's like, I have to prove your strength to my my parents and everything. And he goes, it's okay though. You're gonna do much better than the others. And she was like, the others?
Yeah, the ones on the wall.
She was like, I'm not the first girl. He's like, no, you're like the third girl I've tried this with. But I do hunt other people.
Okay, but like, what strength is being measured? Running ability to not be found
Just to
out?
survive.
Survival.
Mm-hmm. It's fucked up what he does to her. He gives her like a survival knife, and she's like, what the fuck? She's like, what the fuck? I was like, this is horrifying.
I mean, you know, family reunions and dinner parties are hard to get through. You have to have that survival instinct.
I
or
mean,
else the cheese table will eat you alive.
He right though.
I was reading this being like, I would
really
fucking
right.
die in this story because I'm too flabby for any of this shit.
What if he gave her a gun, and if
just
he
gave her a
killed
switchblade.
her,
That's so fucking.
or no, if
a
she
whole
killed,
arsenal.
she killed him, then she would be more powerful, and she could take over the family.
Here, I'll tell you what I think about that at the end. Here.
Okay.
So he doesn't go after her with any guns or anything. He only goes after her with a crossbow because I guess he has a soft spot for her.
Or
yeah.
he's some kind of weird larper.
He has a soft spot, so he gave
I
her
was
a
just like,
switchblade.
I hate this. He gave her a switchblade, and he gave her an hour head start. And she said she was just like walking around, and she's like, "Shit, he's gonna."
That's
fucking
exactly what the
find
fucking
me."
serial killer did.
Yeah, see, this is probably based off of that. And she falls into a pit at some point. That was obviously a trap. She was like, maybe I could just hide here till sunrise. And she starts covering it up when she hears a howl and realizes he has a bloodhound being sent after her, sniffing around. And she's like, it's gonna find me. A hiding's pointless if he has a fucking bloodhound. And I'm reading this, and I'm like, she's gonna have to kill the dog.
Oh shit.
And they find her, obviously, and he uncovers her, and he's like, you can do better than this. And then he walks away,
child.
and she's like, he's not gonna kill me? Oh, yeah, and he told her, he was like, by the way, if I do find you, I will kill you, and I will not hold back. And she was like, oh my god. No. I would have just slit my own wrist with that knife. Like, I'm not.
I'm not even at full power. Try again.
I can't deal with this. And as soon as she climbs out of the hole, he's like, get her. And the dog is sent after her ass. And she's like, oh my, that's an 80 fucking pound dog. And she's running, and it attacks her, and it's gnawing on her arm. And she's like, motherfucker. And she gets the knife and stabs the fucking dog in the side, and it lets go. It starts whimpering and everything and all that shit. And she's like, I feel so fucking bad. I just stabbed the dog. And she's running.
I don't know if I would feel... if I were in that situation, would feel bad about stabbing a dog.
I would probably feel bad that it had to come down to that, but I'd be like, he was going to kill me, so there was no other choice, you know?
It's me or the dog.
Mm-hmm.
Hey.
And she's hiding, and she can hear the guy, her fiance, coming after her, being like, babe, don't worry, I'm not mad about the dog. And she's like, the dog's fucking dead. I killed it. And he's like, come on out. It's fine. And she's like, it's 3 fucking a.m. He's trying to kill me. And she's running, trying to survive for hours and hours when he finds her hiding place and is like shooting arrows at her. And she's like, fuck! And they almost get her. And finally it's almost sunrise and she finds a boat. And she's like, I'm gonna get on this boat and leave his crazy ass and get the police.
That's gotta be some kind of trap.
No, the boat's just fucking broken. And then that's when he appears and like knocks her over the head with a fucking rock.
And what time was it when he did this?
It was sunrise, so she survived. He stopped bashing, I guess. She wakes up in the fucking basement, and she's like, why am I here? And he's like, you won! Yay!
I've locked you in this basement as your reward.
We can get married now! And I was like, no, she's never gonna have sex with you again. She's not gonna marry you. Like, dude, no. And he's like, yeah. He's like, I realize you're gonna be upset right now. I promise I'll never hurt you again. I know that was real scary. I didn't want to scare you. But the hardest part is over. And now we can be in love forever. He's like, every relationship has their bumps.
And no, not the bumps that I put on your sweet little head with this rock.
Yeah, with the fucking rock. How was your arm, by the way? The fucking chew toy for a dog you were for
you
like
killed a dog.
Yeah.
It's fine.
How's your mental state?
And she stays in there until the parents have to come visit. And when she visits the parents, like the mom is like hugging her and whispers like, I'm sorry. And I was like, oh, the fucking mom had to go through this too. And everybody seems really nice, but she was like, of course they seem nice. That's why I started dating this asshole. They're just fucking serial killers. And the mom was like, I'll have tea with you tomorrow morning. And she's like, okay. And she has tea with the mom. And the mom spills the tea. Ooh. And she's like, why is this a family tradition y'all have? Kinda fucked up. She was like, well, basically it's just like a masculinity thing. It's stupid. You know, they want to prove their worth and make sure that their partner can prove their worth too. And she was like, that is the worst, like, reasoning for anything I've heard in my life. And she was like, yeah, it is. And she was like, why is my fiance a part of this? And she was like, your fiance almost wasn't a part of this. He didn't want to be a part of the family tradition. But they're trying to make you feel bad for him, I guess, but I think he's still fucking crazy and that she should kill him. But
maybe like, run away on that broken boat.
Mm-hmm. And she was just like, well, when he first got engaged with somebody the first time, he was like, let's not do this. Father and grandfather, and they were like, no, you're gonna fucking do this. And he was like, okay.
Okay.
Just like, okay.
He was like, I never wanted to be a part of the hunt, but now he is. And, you know, the first time it happened, he was like, the girl wasn't strong enough. I of course caught her. And then he's like, let's just let her go. And the dad was like, no, killed the girl. And I guess her head's in the basement, you know, as a collection piece. I don't fucking know. And apparently that happened the same time with the second girl, except this time the fiance was like, I got it. kills the girl. And the mom was like, and then he didn't date anybody for 6 years, and he was just like, I'm gonna be lonely because
so emo.
Because
what an edge boy.
I don't want
what a
people,
hot edgy boy.
I don't want to have to bring people into this game until he fell in love with you. I'm like, if he really loved her, he would have left her alone.
I mean, honestly.
Or maybe just not gotten engaged, because it seems like the only point they have to do this game is if, they're going to get married.
Okay, but they don't.
Who is supervising this game?
They don't need to have the family involved at all.
I know, right?
Like,
just move to a different country.
And she was like, I felt kind of bad for him. I'm like, you're a stupid hoe. And she was like, but then I realized that no, this was still his fucking choice in the end. And I was like, yeah.
I mean, like you said before, he didn't have to hurt her. I don't think anyone was watching all of this happen.
No, he was all alone when this was happening.
Yeah, so he could have just, if he needed to at least show that he hurt her and tried, he could have just, taken the rock and just hit her once.
Okay, but
I didn't like how much of a pussy she became in the end. She survived all the shit, but, he even takes her back off the mainland and she's just staying with him. Because she tries to run away after this on the island, and he sees her and he chases after her, and he's like, don't leave me. And he was like, if you leave me, I'm just going to have to start all over again and find another girl.
Except he doesn't.
And it'll be your fault that she's in your position.
Yeah.
That makes and she was sense. Like, I can't let another girl be in my position. And I was like, okay, if for some reason you don't want to go to the police because, I don't know, if they're, invulnerable or whatever, for whatever fucking reason in this fantasy universe, maybe they're, paying off the cops, I don't fucking know. Just kill him and the dad, honestly. Get with that mom.
Easy peasy.
Kill the husband first, because I'm sure she'll be less likely to kill her son. And kill the husband, right?
Uh-huh.
And then ditch the fucking mom and murder her son. And then put their heads on a wall.
It breeds more violence.
Listen, I was so pissed off when she was running through the forest. I was like, you have to kill him. I was like, that's the only way out of this, is to kill him in that forest.
Yeah.
In that forest, if he's chasing you, kill him with the switchblade. That's where it should have done. That's what it should have done.
Because, you gotta kill him with the switchblade.
You gotta.
The switchblade.
Like the dog.
Like the dog. Like the dog he is.
Kill him with the dog.
But I was like, this is not a yandere story. This is just full-on horror.
Survival horror at its worst.
I was like, oh my god. And then they did an epilogue. She fucking stayed with this man for 2 years, and she's gonna have a kid with him. And she's just like...
Are they gonna make the kid have to survive?
She was like, I'm so nervous about having a kid because it might have to go through the family tradition, and I don't want that. And I was like, why are you having a kid with him? She was like, hopefully it's a girl, so maybe it won't have to do this. And that's where it ended. And I was like, you dumb fucking slut. Also, the butler lived, by the way.
Oh my god.
His family had been serving that guy's family for that long. And he's like, he never hurts me, but he knows how to put me down the first. And I was like, one of y'all needs to go to the police. Call the FBI, something. Their basement's full of human heads. That's all the proof you need.
And guns. And crossbows.
You were a dog's chew toy. You have 2 people here that could bring this family down. The mom could definitely be convinced.
It's like the girl's probably thinking, well, if I go to the police, they won't believe me at all.
That's so
this is too
stupid.
crazy.
You don't know how fast I'd go to the fucking police. She was like, I'll have to... I would have pretended the Stockholm Syndrome had set in or whatever. I'd been like, yeah. He was like, I'm only going to take you back to the place once I realize I can trust you. And she's like, okay. And I was like, yeah, you can totally trust me. And then I'd go to the fucking police. I'd stab him and I'd go to the police. I'd be like, it's someone.
Yes, officer, I did stab him.
I'd be like, he has 50 heads in his basement. What do you want me to do? Not stab him?
Listen, me killing a murderer is not as bad as sending people into a forest. Please don't arrest me.
I've been like, listen, the way I see it is that he would not let her get away unless he was, handicapped in some way, meaning stab wound. Hit him on the head with a vase, anything.
Hit him in the head with a human head.
Grab one of those heads and chunk it out.
Perfect.
You know what this reminds me of?
What does it remind
Do you remember that episode of Criminal Minds? Where it was the family and they have the son who's 10 and they go to parking lots and outside stores. and they'll like hunt for like a little girl his age.
Yeah.
And then they'll ask the boy. They'll be like, "Which girl do you like?"
What?
We'll get that girl for you.
Yeah, and then they'll raise that little girl to be that little boy's bride.
What?
And it'll get to the point where the girl is so like groomed and like Stockholm
That she'll
syndrome
help with the next kidnapping
that
when she's an
she
adult.
continues the
What the
family
fuck?
tradition.
You know, I've heard some pretty fucked up Criminal Minds episodes because my girlfriend watches it a lot and she tells me about some pretty weird stuff. That's probably the most fucked up thing I've heard.
Okay,
come
but
out
you
of
need to
Criminal
know that
Minds.
episode ends with them being like, "There's more of us. You may have caught us, but there's like tons of us across the world,"
Holy
and that's
shit.
never resolved.
Like, Criminal Minds always makes me fucking scared because I'll be like, haha, there's... Because, like, at one point, Riley, you were like, surely there's not as many serial killers as we think. But then I was just like, it only takes 3 to make it serial. And I was like, there's so many serial killers. Oh my god. There was another episode of Criminal Minds where they did hunt people.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. I don't remember this one.
Do you remember it?
There was 2 guys, and they lived on a mountain where hikers would often go
Oh,
through.
I do
And they
remember
would
it
set
now.
shit like bear traps.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Yeah, they also used arrows
And
too.
they would catch the hikers, and then they would release them and be like, run, bitch, run. And then they'd, I don't know, skin them, eat them, I don't know.
Why is this such, like, a weird trend?
I don't know, Criminal Minds, they, like, after, like, season 4, they had to start amping up the serial killers and
They got
making them
crazy.
ridiculous.
Okay,
Crazy.
correct me if I'm wrong, but are all of the stories from Criminal Minds based on actual?
That is not
That's
true
not
at all.
true.
Okay.
There's an
Some of them
episode in, like,
are
the
in
newest season, or the season before that, that's, like, the 50 Shades of Grey killer.
Oh my god, that was so funny.
So they kill...
The 50 Shades of Grey killer?
He'll sneak into their houses wearing, like, the Splinter Cell
He
fucking Chaos
finds them
Theory mask.
because they read 50 Shades of Grey.
Yeah, the victims are all people who read it, because he's like, okay, the women who read this, they want this.
They want me to do this. Yeah.
Does he do everything he does to them while wearing the Splinter Cell?
He suggests,
Mask.
yes, he wears the fucking night vision goggles.
He looks like a fucking idiot.
And then he attacks them and then kills them with like a silk scarf
Yeah,
around
he
their
like
neck.
chokes them
He
with
chokes them to death. Like, no sexy choking. And the girls do not want it at all. They're like, oh god.
Yes, Daddy!
it.
Choke
Ooh,
me!
yikes.
Ooh,
Man.
that hurt me too, but I had to say it.
But some of the Criminal Minds episodes are inspired, some of them, not that one, but some of them are inspired by actual things.
You know, my girlfriend was telling me that there's this one episode where, like, this girl's eggs get stolen.
Her what?
Her eggs.
Eggs. What?
Yeah.
Like
her lady eggs.
her.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then what?
And then, like, she uses one of the eggs to get a surrogate child made. And then there's, like, a bunch of drama over, I don't know, possession of the child. I think it was Criminal Minds or it was Law and Order. SVU. I don't know.
It sounds like a Law and Order
That
episode.
sounds like a Law and Order. Unless someone's murdered, it's not Criminal Minds, okay?
I see.
Yeah, they're murdered, kidnapped.
Yeah. A bomber.
A bomber, sniper.
Sniper.
Serial sniper episodes are popular.
I was thinking about that one serial sniper
There was a
episode.
couple serial sniper.
It was really good.
Do y'all remember when the actual serial sniper was a thing?
What?
Yeah, there was like a real serial sniper just sniping people in DC. And I think when I was in 4th grade, I saw this Discovery documentary about how these 2 guys just serial sniped a bunch of people.
4th grade?
Maybe 5th grade.
Yeah, that's okay. Continue.
It was like on the Discovery Channel. It was like, yeah, these guys, you know, they fitted a car so they could stick their little sniper barrel out of the license plate and
They
shoot
did
people.
that in Criminal
Yeah,
Minds!
yeah, that's what he did. It was so creepy.
Oh my god. Yeah. Traumatized me.
They did a thing in Criminal Minds where they pretended to do the setup over like a park, to get in the mind of, like, the serial killer. They're like, okay, here's where he'd be. And one of them was, like, in the trunk of a car, like, poking out, looking at through the license plate with the
Oh my god.
But he wasn't in there, and the... Wait.
No. Okay, so they set it up. They were going to do, like, a test.
Oh, shit!
They were going to do a test to see how he does it in his car. So they set up agents around the park and, like, an agent in the back of the car where they had their own, like, I'm a sniper setup. But, okay, so they were doing the shot, seeing if it was correct. And it was just supposed to be, like, a fake shot. Like, no one was supposed to get hurt. But then someone actually gets shot. And the sniper was actually there at the same time.
At one point, they thought that the sniper was the guy pretending to be the sniper. They're like, who's our most likely suspect, by the way, to be the sniper? And they're like, it's Joe. He was like, Joe, the guy pretending to be the sniper? Oh, what?
Surely they would have thought that through before putting him in a car with a gun.
You would think.
Oh my god.
I love how this has just turned into the Criminal Minds episode.
I would do a Criminal Minds podcast going through every episode of Criminal Minds.
Every episode. Isn't it over now?
Holy shit. Well, yes. I'm not saying we'd be relevant.
It's like a documentary.
Criminal Minds is so good.
It's so good.
It sounds wild.
It is. Some episodes really fucked me up, though. Like, some episodes, I'd be like...
I mean, it sounds like it would.
Some episodes, like, you know how sometimes when you watch, like, a spoopy movie, you're like, ooh, I get that thrill rush, but you don't feel bad. You're just like, yeah, that was, like, thrilling, you know?
Yeah, good scare.
Some Criminal Minds episodes leave me feeling just fucking god-awful at the
The
end.
void.
Because I'll be like...
The Void.
I'll be like, there's nothing but sadness and disgust in the world. Where something will, like, really fucked up will happen, and I'm like, I don't feel good anymore. This has transcended entertainment, and it just makes me feel shitty.
It's been a long time since I've experienced that feeling.
Like, there's an episode where this guy would make people into puppets.
Oh my god.
You know, that's how...
Watch him break their bones and then, like, dangle them like a marionette.
I was like, this is not entertaining.
You know, me watching any of the Saw movies made me feel that way.
I don't watch
Same.
Saw.
I hate
don't do
the
gore.
one where they're thrown into a pile of needles.
Yes. That's the one.
I do not. Listen.
You know, there's another Saw trap where, like, these two people are turned into puppets.
Fucked
And
up.
this guy has to, like,
No.
choose which one to save.
Fucked
I think
up.
it's,
Shit
like,
that makes me
his
feel bad.
grandma or something. Or the old lady and then someone else.
I mean,
it hurts.
I don't know if that's actually
do
what
not
happens.
choose your grandma. Listen.
Well, if it's like you or my grandma, I'm gonna pick
Oh my
you.
god! Oh, it's such a hard choice. Thank you
She's
for letting me know.
old. I mean, she's ready to go.
Yeah, but maybe not, like,
Not in
being
a
turned
fucked
into
up
a
way.
puppet.
Listen, I can't
Those
handle
bones
horror
are already
movies.
broken.
Oh my god, it's so messed up. Your poor grandma. Thank you for saving me.
I might have to turn this down a little bit because we're spiking a lot.
Listen, Saw gets us excited. So listen, I don't do gore. I don't watch gore movies. I don't do it.
It's kind of not as satisfying as like the subtle, like
It makes me
scary
feel bad.
one.
I don't get any pleasingness from it. You know, I'm not like, ooh, I was scared. I'm just like, oh god, I want to die.
I feel awful.
When I was like in 8th grade, I was on Netflix going through a bunch of horror movies because I like watching horror movies. And I
We've
was like,
seen
what is
a
this-
lot.
What is this Zodiac movie? A Zodiac killing movie or whatever.
Oh no, that can't be good.
And I made it like 10 minutes into the movie before I fucking left because I didn't finish watching it. It started off with like the parents were like, have you seen our daughter? She must have already gone to school. She's like a teenager. She wasn't in bed or anything, but you see her laying chained up in the garage, like duct taped, mouth and everything. And one leg has a chain to one car, and one leg has a chain
Oh,
to another
no.
car.
Oh man.
Oh
Yes.
no.
And this has haunted me all my life. And the parents get in their separate cars to drive off in their opposite directions to work, and then I stopped the movie.
Oh my, fuck
And
that.
I was like, fuck that
that.
shit. Like, I was like, surely they're gonna notice. But once she started dragging and her legs started going opposite ways, I stopped the movie. I was like, this is not the movie for me. This is...
Yeah, the Ted Cruz, or the Ted Cruz documentary is not for everyone.
Listen, don't call him out like that. He's gonna kill you.
You know what scene has haunted me forever? It was when I was like a youngin', like a 12 or some shit. The scene, like, it's so unrealistic and stupid now, but me looking back on it, it scarred me, okay? It's from one of the Final Destination movies.
Oh shit.
Where the girl gets her head stuck in the elevator, like in the elevator door, and it keeps going up, as if she gets decapitated.
There was one that, what was that movie that the three of us watched? Kale and Riley?
Gerald's Game.
Gerald's Game. There is this movie. Spoilers for Gerald's Game.
I've never even heard of Gerald's Game.
It's good.
What is Gerald's Game?
It's a movie.
It's based on a Stephen King novel.
Ooh.
It's this movie
Spooky.
where this man and this woman are having a failing marriage, and their sex life sucks.
Oh god, it's that. Oh no.
A solid premise.
I just remembered it all.
Yeah.
So they decide, we're going to spice things up and have a weekend away, and our maids,
I might have heard of this.
Our maids and people won't show up for like a month or something.
Something
A long enough
crazy.
time to where if you're stranded there, you're gonna fucking die, you know? And so to spice things up, they leave the fucking front door open, and they're like, look, there's a little neighborhood dog, isn't that cute? And they leave the door open, and they go to their bedroom, and immediately start trying to have sex. He handcuffs her to the bed, both hands, and then he starts trying to have sex with her when he has a heart attack and dies over her body and lands on top of her. He's fucking dead. And she's like, hello? She's
Knocks
like,
on his head. Anyone in there?
she's like, I know, I'm gonna get to that. She's like, oh my god, what am I gonna do? And she's kicks his body off of her and he falls onto the floor. She's like, he's fucking dead.
Wait, is this the movie with, like, her getting the hand?
I'm gonna get to that.
I've heard of this before.
This is so fucked up.
In fact, I think you told me.
I probably did, because I was that horrified of the movie that I think I told everyone. Now I'm telling you viewers.
Wonderful viewers, if you're still here, if you're even listening,
She's
if
like
you're not scarred.
hallucinating of the guy like standing up and being like, our marriage is failing because of this. And she's like having weird flashbacks to like her being molested as a child at the same time.
Oh my
fucked
god.
The dog from earlier comes inside, starts eating her dead husband's face.
Ew.
I know. And then she like hallucinates like, she thinks she hallucinates anyway, a man with like a hook or something for a hand. I don't know, that's how I remember
Put him on a hook, call him fish
Hand
bit.
hook, hand car door.
Hand hook, hand car door, man. And he's like standing at the edge of the bedroom looking at her being like, and then he leaves. She called him like Moonlight Man or something.
Yeah, something.
And she was like, oh my god, if that man was real, he's gonna come back. Oh yeah, and he was wearing like a necklace of like ears or something. And she's like, oh my god, if he comes back, by the time the moon hits again, he's gonna fucking kill me and take my ear. And she's like, I have to get out. Surely there will be a way for me to get out. She starts trying to like get the handcuffs off of her, but she can't really do it. And her hand can't squeeze through. So she knocks a glass off of the shelf above her and breaks it in her hand and starts squeezing the glass so blood would
so it
start
lubes
flowing.
her freaking hand.
She's using her own blood as lubrication, and that's when she starts pulling her hand through the fucking metal cuff. Because for some reason, if you're gonna... First things first, these obviously don't know how to do BDSM or anything like that. Because you think you'd choose not metal cuffs, right? You choose
Leather cups.
leather,
The fuzzy
soft,
ones.
Fuzzy
ones.
cuffs.
But anyway, she starts squeezing her hand through, and you see her skin off her hand start lifting. And that's when Kale, Riley, and I all started screaming. We were watching as she slowly was degloving the skin off of her hand.
Oh.
And we were all like,
Rest in peace, listeners' ears.
Rest in peace.
This haunts me to this day. I
And
still think about
she's,
it.
I don't even remember if she was screaming or not. I'm sure she was. I know I was.
All I know is it was a fever dream.
It was the word. I couldn't look away. And she finally gets her bloody mess of a hand through the glove, and she's like,
Her
"Oh my
skin
god!"
is basically all the way off by now.
Oh.
Yeah, and she's just a bloody. In my mind, I was expecting to see bone, because I was like, she's literally degloving her hand. The whole meat is coming off. It's just gonna be a
Degloving.
skeleton.
Hey, she'll be able to unlock doors with her bony finger.
Because that was like my brain being horrified. It was the worst case scenario. Then she runs to the bathroom and wraps it up with a pad because that's how bad she was bleeding. She just put some pads. Didn't she pour like disinfectant
I was
on
gonna say,
her
did she
hand?
disinfect
she-
the skinless hand?
Listen,
Yeah, she just...
I'm not gonna disinfect my fucking hand. I'm gonna let the ER do that. They're gonna punch me in the face to knock me out. And then they're gonna
What did she use to disinfect her hand?
She had disinfectant. Was it rubbing alcohol? No, that would be fucked up, right? Was it just
No, I
alcohol?
think it... No, wait, was it?
Was it
I-
peroxide?
If it was
No.
peroxide, that would be even worse, because that would just, like, kill all of the cells.
Yeah, but at least
On
it
her
wouldn't
hand.
hurt as bad.
That's true.
But
It'd
I
do a
know-
good job disinfecting.
I know it fucking hurt though. And
Anyway.
Was it just one hand or both?
just one
one.
hand because she was able to unlock it with the
With
other.
her
Okay.
shitty hand.
She was like, oh.
With her bony finger.
Slap, slap, slap. She used her bony finger to picklock the other.
Can you imagine?
I can't get out of this door. Can't open the door. Degloves hand.
And then she was like running away. Dehydrated, hungry, bloody hand. And she was like, oh god. I think she turned around and saw the guy. And she was like, you're not real.
Doesn't she have to give him something?
At the end.
He has a box that he wants. Did she put their wedding ring? What?
Yeah.
Yeah, she put her wedding rings in the box. She gave it to him. She was like, because he was staring at her with her bloody hand. And I guess since he's crazy, he had some compassion still. And he was like, well, I obviously don't need to kill you.
Your hand.
You're,
I feel for
You'll
you,
kill
girl.
yourself in no
I
time.
feel bad for you, girl. He was like, I thought maybe the elements were going to kill you. But she puts the fucking rings in his box. And she's like, you're not real. Runs away.
She unlocked his heart with her bony finger.
She leaves in the meat glove in the box.
Ew.
He just slips it on. I'm only laughing because I'm horrified. I'm so grossed out.
Doesn't it cut to, like, I think at the end of the movie it cuts to her, like, later?
In court.
No. Before she's in court, she's writing a story with a special glove.
Yeah.
She's like, my hand never fully healed. But I still write books.
They're shaking.
And she wrote about her experience and the Moon Man, and then she started seeing shit in the newspaper of a man who was killing people and taking like wedding rings and
In their
ears.
ear.
And she was like, what? And then they caught him, and she was like, oh my god, that's the Moonlight Man. And she goes to court, and she's like, I met you. I forgot what his reaction was. It was something like, it's you. You gave me your fucking...
Saw, dude.
He was happy to see her, though. And then she was like, fuck you, and then he wasn't happy.
And that's how it ends, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
she
that's how it
Fuck
ends.
you, and she leaves.
She leaves with her gloved hand and is like, I moved past my life. I would never
With
move
my
past that.
degloved hand.
I would I would be like, do you want to know what happened to me? Do you want to know how I got these scars? I'd go
Takes off the
full
glove.
Turns
Shows her
into the
bony
Joker.
fingers.
I'd go full on Joker. I'd be like, can I get my wedding rings back so I can cling. Oh my god.
Yeah, and then she turns into like some kind of pirate queen.
Oh my god.
Rings on her bony finger.
Oh god.
It's. I hope she.
Give me all your treasure.
I hope she got so much money off
Got
of
it.
those books about her degloving her own hand.
You like my glove?
Gee, thanks.
Just
Just
buy
got
it.
it. Oh my god.
Oh,
What a
yikes.
great movie.
Love it. 10 out of
Horrifying.
10. Watch it.
Buy it. Love it. Deglove
Live
it.
it.
It's one of the worst scenes
Neck
I've seen in my
snapped.
life.
I mean, I'm a little
Big
traumatized
snap.
after listening to that, but I also kind of want to watch it.
It's a good movie.
Another good horror movie is The Descent. It's kind of old,
The Descent!
but it's so good.
Is that Descent like DISS or
No.
DEC?
Okay.
No.
It's the scariest movie I've ever
Going
seen.
down.
It's
Descent.
the best horror movie I've ever seen. But hold on, I need to talk about how Kale and Paige watched it together. Okay, the dumb sluts, they didn't wait for me to watch it. So, because we were all gonna watch The Descent too. Did you watch that? No.
No, I decided that
anyways.
sounded too awful.
To catch up with them, I had to watch The Descent on my own. There was a point.
Because I refuse to rewatch it.
Usually, I can get through any horror movie just fine. Even the Saw movies, I'll be like, I'll find some solace in how funny the fucking traps are, okay? But there was a point in this movie, and I think it's when they're crossing the chasm
Yeah, and
with,
she had with
the rope.
Yeah.
There's a point where I was like, I have to turn this off. This is too fucking stressful.
No.
See, the reason why I didn't rewatch it with you is because, like, I think you had gone to bed that night, and Kale and I still wanted to stay up, so we were like, he's like, you want to watch this movie called
You
The
piece of
Descent?
shit.
I was like, sure. It's a horror movie? He's like, yeah. I was like, is it gory? And you're like, not really.
He didn't tell you the extent.
And-
The horrors your mind would face.
And I think I made you pause it a couple times.
Yeah.
But I know after I watched it with you, I knew my brother was still awake doing some art, and I went into his room and I laid down on the floor. And I was like, brother, I am sweating so much. I knew Riley wanted to watch it, and I was just like, no, I can't. It's too soon. And you're
Piece
like,
of shit.
You're like, it's fine. I can watch it by myself.
I did, but there was a point where I was like, I can't do this. I can't fucking do this. She's crossing the chasm on a fucking little rope. She's gonna fucking fall. It's barely holding on!
Sure, I was like 16 when I saw this movie for the first time, but I'm sure I'd be just as terrified now.
I don't fucking doubt it.
It's about
These
The
girls,
Descent.
they go into a cavern because they want
Wait,
to go...
I know what this movie is.
They want to go
I saw the
spelunking.
trailer.
They want to go
Saw it.
spelunking, and they go into a cavern without, good climbing gear, because they'll be like, oh, it's fine, we'll just wing it. And they lose some of their climbing gear, and then they get stuck in the cave, and they have to get out, but there's also monsters in the cave. And,
like little wendigo ass looking thing.
yeah, it's very stressful. They made a sequel to it, which is really bad. It was,
Love that ending, by the way.
More wendigos.
But yeah, watch it. It's good.
Have y'all seen that movie? Is it like 128 hours or something like
fuck.
that?
That's
And it-
real life. Fuck that shit.
What is it?
No, okay, so it's about like this rock climber who.
No, I already want to die.
This is based off of a true story.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
wait,
think.
is this the one where he gets stuck?
Yeah, he gets
in the-
stuck
in the
because a
cra-
rock
yes,
falls on
I-
his arm and he has to cut his arm off with a dull
I did watch
pocket
part
knife.
of that one, yeah. Oh,
A
it's so
dull
bad.
pocket knife.
Yeah, he cuts off his whole arm with a dull pocket knife, and he's stuck in like this ravine too. So like he cuts it off, and then I don't remember if he gets out on his own or if he gets rescued by someone. But yeah.
He gets rescued not long after he cuts off his arm.
Okay.
You might as well be cutting it off with a spoon.
I think I remember hearing like something about it where he was like, well, once I got to the bone, I kind of wanted to stop, but you can't stop once you get to the bone.
Oh. See, I saw the movie. I didn't see any of the like actual interviews with the dude. Oh.
That reminds me.
Rock climbers need to be safer. There's this other movie that I saw part of, and it's about a bunch of miners who got stuck in a cave and they're like drinking, I don't know, what's that, like baby milk stuff? Formula? Yeah, they're drinking formula,
milk.
trying to survive. Like all these miners in like Venezuela, some South American country, stuck in a cave, trying to get out.
Oh,
There's that. Oh yeah, I also started watching Chernobyl like this weekend, and I mean, good series. It's like if a monster movie was real, except the monster is like nuclear power, Soviet nuclear power.
Yes, comrade.
So,
wait,
like,
what is it called?
Chernobyl.
I think
I don't know.
I've
It's like a mini series about the Chernobyl nuclear disaster.
Okay, didn't we watch an actual horror movie about Chernobyl? We had.
I think I know what you're talking about.
We were on a binge.
Okay, but that whole binge of like horror movies that we watched is like a fever dream to me. So you're gonna need to.
There were like mutants in Chernobyl, and like
I know what you're
they got
talking
there
about.
and the car got messed up and they had to fix the car or something.
I know about
Or
this.
like one of them got out and we were like, get back in the car.
Yeah.
But then the monster showed up. Do you not remember that?
Interesting how this doesn't ring a bell to me at all. What's it called?
I don't know. I just remember it
Just
had.
look up like Chernobyl horror movies.
I think no, because they were going there for a documentary because it was very like found footage. Film.
Yeah.
I love and hate found footage stuff, by the way, because it's always shitty, but I always love the idea of it.
Yeah.
Blair Witch Project vibe.
I watch.
Silent Hill. No.
Ooh, can I finish talking about Chernobyl? So like the first episode, like it's all these people in the basement of the power plant that blew up, and the main guy is like this very Russian looking man, this very angry Russian looking man being like, no, everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everyone's telling him like, no, it's not fine. The meters, they only go up to 3.6 Rokin, but it's probably more. And he's like, 3.6, no big deal. Chest X-ray. And he like walks up outside of the thing and he like looks down and he literally sees parts of the reactor blown up and he's like, no, just rock. And then everyone's trying to tell
duct tape.
Yeah, honestly, everyone's trying to tell him like the reactor blew up, nothing we do is gonna work, and he's like, just fix the reactor, just flow. The reactor can't blow up, just keep flowing water through it. And then like he has to tell his higher ups about the situation. He's like, everything's fine. And then
Why?
because he's an idiot, he's an arrogant asshole.
He's like, I can hide a reactor blowing up from.
Yeah,
I
and
just
like
think this is
they pull together this meeting, and he and the higher ups are like asking all these people who work at the factory, like, how can a reactor blow up, huh? It's not possible. So you're wrong and I'm right. And they literally send someone to go up and like investigate the reactor, and he gets like radiation burns all over his face, and he comes back to report, and these dudes just start yelling at him because they're like, there's no way the reactor could fucking blow up,
And he's
you
like,
idiot.
"Ah!"
Yeah, he's just sitting there like looking stunned and probably in a lot of pain because his face is like tomato
And he's
red from the
definitely gonna
radiation.
die.
Yeah. And so like in the second episode, or at the end of the first episode, they get like this bigger committee together, and they call like this nuclear expert, and this guy is like telling him about the situation, and the nuclear expert's like, 3.6 Rokin? No, that's not okay. You need to get everyone out. But he's trying to tell this guy on the phone this, and he's like, no, you need to be in Moscow tomorrow. Bye. And he goes there, and and like other people are like, well, how could a reactor blow up, huh? Idiot. Yeah.
It doesn't make a lick of sense.
Yeah. And he like finally stands up to these people and he's like, no, you're fucking wrong. Okay, we're in a lot of danger. And so
I would just be like, you go down there and look at it.
yeah,
Hug it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so like after convincing these people that they're fucking wrong and they need to do something about this, this other like nuclear lady comes in and she's like, hey, you know, that thing you're doing to try and fix the reactor, okay, it's fucked up. You're gonna blow up all of Chernobyl because they poured a bunch of sand and boron to try and, like, cool the reactor down.
Yeah.
And in theory, it worked, but apparently there's a bunch of full water tanks right beneath where all the sand is. And so, and the lady's like, in like 2 days, this sand's gonna melt through the concrete and reach those water tanks and cause a nuclear explosion bigger than anything that's ever been seen.
Oh.
And then she hopped on a plane and left, right?
No, she stayed there.
Why? She wanted to die?
Well, she wanted to save the Soviet Union, like a true communist hero.
I would be like, look guys, we're fucked.
Time to
Well,
run.
what they do is they send 3 nuclear power plant workers down into that basement where all the water is to drain the water.
To kill them.
Well, the thing is, like, the scientist guy and the scientist girl, like, have to ask the President Gorbachev. I don't know. But they have to ask him for permission to basically kill 3 people because they know these 3 people won't survive going down there and, like, draining all the water.
Do the 3 people going down there know they're gonna die?
They figure it out. They don't tell them at first.
God,
Yeah, so they pull all these factory workers in, like, a little boardroom, and they're like, okay, if you do this, you'll get a stipend of 400 rubles and a promotion. And they're like, fuck no. I'm not gonna die for 400 rubles. And so...
What's the point of any amount of money if you're just gonna die?
I
It
know.
could be $1 billion.
I know.
You're not getting that $1 billion.
Then, like, this guy gives a passionate communist speech, and he's like, you have to do this for your country, and then 3 people volunteer. They go down there with these flashlights, and they're, like, looking for the water valves to turn off, and they find it, then the flashlights turn off, and they're stuck. They can't see anything. They're in a blowing, like, a broken down nuclear reactor.
The radiation
stuck.
from their own bodies would light them up.
You're so smart.
You're so
and
smart.
intelligent.
But that's not what happened. They're just stuck, and they start freaking the fuck out. And they're, like, wearing these suits, and they can't really talk to each other. So, like, right when they figure out that they're basically gonna die, they start freaking out and, like, screaming in their suits, but it just sounds really muffled. They start
Like,
banging on a bunch of stuff.
They knew they were gonna die before they went down there, right?
Yeah, but they didn't think their flashlights would go out.
They didn't think they were gonna die in the dark alone.
Yeah.
Oh.
They thought they were gonna, like, save the day.
Ew.
Yeah, like, that's probably one of the scariest things I've seen in a while.
Oh God, that sounds so stressful.
And it actually happened, I think.
I would just be like, the one that should go down there to drain it should be the idiot.
President.
The idiot guy that was like,
Oh, there are
It's
3 idiot
fine.
guys, and then there's the scientist, and, like...
did you say 3 idiot guys?
Oh, yeah, there's 3. So, like,
That's
you
the
got the
perfect
very...
amount.
You got the very... very Russian scientist guy, and then, like, the 2 higher-ups. Here, I think one of them's, like, Minister of Concrete, or something.
Minister of Concrete.
Or one of them's, like, an engineer. Or they're both engineers.
Man.
Weird thing about this series, everyone has a British accent.
That's
And they-
very true to life.
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, I get why they did it,
They should have hired
to make it, like, more watchable. But they have, like, some segments, some, like, I think they have a few 911 calls, or Soviet 911 calls. And
119.
some, like, newscast that are in Russian. And then some announcements are just playing in the background in Russian, but everyone's speaking English. And it's kind of weird, but whatever. It's still good, still spooky.
Hell yeah.
I would never sacrifice myself for a bunch of idiots that wouldn't
What?
appreciate it.
Not even for 400 rubles?
Not for 400.
I mean, 400 rubles, though. I mean,
if you gave me a candy bar before I went down there, I'd do it, but
You do it for, but you can buy a candy bar for 400 rubles.
that's where they're gonna give me the candy bar. It's equivalent exchange.
Transmute that 400 rubles into a candy bar using the power of radiation.
There's
only
just
they could have transmuted that
so
water
many
away.
moments in
If
horror
only.
movies and thriller movies or whatever where I'll be like, I would definitely die in this situation, or where I'm like, I wouldn't die because I'm not as fucking stupid as the protagonist. But I was reading one the other day where I'd definitely die. This is like a hospital horror movie type of thing, horror story.
Oh, it's over. Dead.
Yep. It was like this girl, she's like, I help disabled people with mental disabilities and physical disabilities. I help them get through their days. I'm like a nurse, essentially. Helper. And she gets a letter from this place that's essentially like a housing place. It looks like a giant house where these people live. And she's like, hey, they're like, you can live here where all these people are with mental and physical disabilities. And we're gonna, well, I'm suspicious staff, of course. But don't worry, any creepy vibes I'm giving off is fine. You should live here. And she's like, that sounds like a great idea. And she's getting paid like a ridiculous amount of money, like 9,000 a month, ridiculous.
9,000 rubles. Holy shit.
I know. Because the whole entire time I was like, she's so fucking stupid. This is obviously a haunted house. The workers there are probably like eating the patients. I don't fucking know, They're gonna eat her. She might become a patient. I don't know. Like,
Whoa.
There might be some fucked up shit happening there. And then it was like, and then we'll pay you 9,000 a month while you live here. I was like, accept the job. I accept it. Go for it. You can live on that. You only need to survive for like a year, and then you'll be good.
Survive like that girl in the other fanfic.
Mm-hmm.
Prove your worth.
All she needs is a knife.
Kill the head of the hospital. But I would have definitely died because I think I haven't finished the story, but I'm sure she's gonna get eaten.
What's the name of this fanfiction? And the other one.
I'm not gonna tell you the name of the other one. The name of this one, though, I don't know the name of this one. It's on Wattpad, though.
Why Wattpad of all of the sites?
I go to multiple sites.
Oh, okay.
She's desperate.
I am. I'll even go to Quota.
Oh,
She
no.
goes to Quota.
I go to Tumblr.
Okay, that's better than Quota.
Okay,
I go to AO3. I
How
go
much
to
do you find on
fanfiction.net.
Tumblr? Is it not a barren hellscape
It's
now?
actually not. There's some people that are still active. The one that I
For
read
some
earlier,
reason.
with the girl being hunted, that was on Tumblr.
Well, you'd think with the drought of, like, visual porn on Tumblr, there'd be more written porn.
Oh, I guess that's
There
true.
is a lot of written porn on Tumblr now.
You know what? Yeah, I do. Like, sometimes you'll just be scrolling and then you'll see just a wall of text and you're like, what is this? And then you're, oh, let me keep scrolling.
The princess thing
Oh,
was
no.
not on Tumblr. That was on AO3.
Oh, dear.
Okay, I do
Princess.
have a question
Yes.
about your fanfic searchings. So, is it just like,
Paige, we're all coming for Paige this episode.
it's not like fandom specific, it's just
There are
whatever?
some of them
Or
are
is it? Are
fandom-
some of them just like not? They're just like fictional characters. It's not.
Yeah, some of them are all
So
just
it's just
fictional
like a
characters.
not
the
a
Wattpad
fan fiction.
one.
It's just a.
I will still call it fan fiction because I'm like, I don't know what else.
I
to
read
call it.
romance novels.
A lot of the
Novellas.
stuff I read
Oh.
now is based off of OC and OC stuff.
Okay.
But there is a healthy mixture of fandoms in there. Because I need material.
Don't look at me.
Just the way you said that.
Because
I need material.
I need material. Turns his
Someone
head.
please
Looks
give
at
her more
Riley.
I
material.
can't limit myself when it's already so limited to find good fanfiction.
You know,
Hey.
Target has a whole rack of romance novels. That's
Listen,
basically fan
But this
fiction.
is all free. Not all the stuff I read is romance, though.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Did you not just hear the girl being hunted? That was not
Yeah,
romantic.
that doesn't-
I don't know.
That's
that sounds
some pretty weird-
romantic to me.
A pretty weird romance.
Candlelit.
I
Hunting
was just
trip.
so pissed off at
Island.
the end. I was like, she killed the dog. She could kill him. Like, you know, she could have survived. She could have gone away. She could have been one of those badass female
A bad
protagonists.
bitch.
I love those. Like an alien. Yeah.
Did you say like an alien?
Yeah. Like an alien.
Well,
Like
yeah,
Ripley.
but why is that?
She was a badass at the
She
end.
was.
I mean,
Why is
she
it
did-
The first
she
thing
did-
you thought of.
She did torch the fuck out of that necromorph.
Mhm.
Or More.
Okay.
More.
What about or like that girl from Cloverfield?
You mean
10,
Xenomorph?
Blaine.
Xenomorph.
Necromorphs are from Dead Space.
I've been playing too much Divinity.
Necromorphs,
Okay.
Xenomorphs.
I've got the
They look
Necro.
the same, honestly.
Xenogears, you know how it is.
But what horror movies has taught me is that I'm dying a lot of them, and some of them I wouldn't even give a chance to happen. And then others, it's just, I'm never going to go cave spelunking.
I want to go. Oh my god.
Fuck you, bitch.
Take a camera with
Go
you.
alone.
So when we send in the police, because I'm not going after you, the police to find your dead body, we can watch the wendigos eat you.
Yeah, I won't go spelunking with you.
Okay,
I'm
listen.
too afraid.
Why do you want to watch them eat me though?
I
want to
know what happened. I want to be like, what happened? Why was he like this? Was it like The Descent? And then I need that closure.
If we go spelunking and there's a chance I can sacrifice you to save myself and get out of that cave, I would do it
that
so
is
fast.
so true. You'd kill me so
that's,
quick.
That's another reason why I wouldn't go. Because if us two went, she would definitely go, and she would definitely sacrifice us both.
I am not being stuck in a cave to starve to death, okay? I don't have the mental capabilities to handle that,
Listen.
okay?
I would say we could eat her, but she's too scrawny.
Exactly. Little bitch is dying, okay?
Dying alone in the dark as a skeleton.
I'm sacrificing you for the greater good, which is me.
Shoot priority.
Well, I know where your loyalties lay.
I'm not dying in a cave,
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. Even if you sacrificed us, I think you'd still die.
Okay, but I'm just saying in this weird hypothetical where, like, we're climbing up the wall, and then to get up, if I could, like, kick you down to get up faster.
I've already talked to you about this, but if there was ever a zombie apocalypse and the zombies were chasing us, I would definitely trip you, and I would take your glasses as backup because I'm blind. And our prescription's pretty close.
Alright, but now that you've told me your plan,
I've told you about this already.
aptly prepare for
This
it.
is what you said last time too, but you're gonna forget because you forget everything.
Well, now I've been told twice. I definitely
I've told
won't
you
forget.
like for years. I've been telling you this for
You
years.
told me twice.
I've told you so many
She's
times.
told me it 2 times.
Well, what's the plan? I know that y'all have talked about the plan, but I don't know the plan.
I'll
What's the plan?
Hold a sock with a rock in it at all times during the zombie apocalypse. And when we're running, I'm gonna bash her in the head with it. And then as she drops, I'll run.
You're getting,
The zombies will
you're
eat her.
deleting a valuable ally, okay?
A
Deleting.
valuable ally.
Deleting
That's
A valuable ally. Where are all of the allies in the zombie apocalypse?
I would only do this because I know she would sacrifice me too. I don't trust
I
her.
never said
Oh, so
that.
there y'all have
I
like
said in the case of a cave.
Of a cave.
Yeah, that doesn't
So,
apply to every
y'all
situation.
have this weird
I'm not
mutually
starving to
assured
death.
destruction pact. Well, I mean, only if the darkest timeline becomes true
The
will
darkest
y'all
side.
have
I
to
pray for it.
resort to such action.
I think
hope.
whether I would sacrifice you would depend on my mood, you know.
It would though.
So you better-
It can happen at any time.
You know.
That bitch wouldn't play Warframe with me yesterday.
Exactly, yes. And then I create my YouTube video exposing you.
Oh, go ahead.
Exposing the leftovers.
I feel
podcast.
lost in this community.
What if? All right. What if
Your journey.
Kale and Riley went spelunking, and then only Riley came back, and we were like,
Well, I would know exactly what happened.
and she was like, "Listen, there were monsters, and they got to Kale." I don't know how I'd handle that. I'd be like, "We need to get a police officer to go in and get your footage, and then we can watch the wendigos eat you, and also his foot coming at your face." And then I could be like, "She killed him."
What if instead of saying that, I came back and I was like, I'm not going to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it. The darkness.
I would, alright,
The
if you
darkness has
reacted
consumed
like
you.
that, I'd be like, something fucked up happened. You know? I wouldn't really sacrifice
I would
you,
hope that
probably.
would weigh on you.
The darkness. I had to do it to him. Then I dab.
I wouldn't sacrifice
Oh.
you to the wendigos, Kale.
Thank you.
Oh, God.
I wouldn't sacrifice you because I feel like I would die first.
I mean, I probably would have already something.
Let's all be real here. None of us would be getting out alive.
No.
No.
I mean, I'm not climbing that wall with these arms.
I know I don't have any upper arm strength. We should start rock wall climb. Pretend I said that correctly.
Wall climbing.
Yeah.
For practice.
Yeah, just in case.
You know, I think if we ever go spelunking for whatever reason, I think we should bring some kind of weapon, like a sword.
A switchblade.
A shotgun.
A gun.
A shotgun.
2 guns.
Bazooka. A bomb.
A gun
A
with
nuke.
enough
Actually,
bullets to kill all of
There
us.
was a lot of wendigos, so a nuke would have to... Like, if I had gotten out of that cave... Because there's like hundreds. If I had gotten out of that cave...
How big are these wendigos?
You gotta gas them.
They're like people size.
I would have been
Hundreds
like, look,
of them.
guys, we're gonna evacuate the city. And then we're gonna take one of our nuclear bombs
nuclear.
and drop it right in that cave. And then we're all gonna die.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, please.
Solid plan.
And like every cave we find before anybody can visit it for the next 100 years, we're gonna nuke it. Wait for that radiation to go
Did you
down.
become President
George
W.
Bush? That's a very George Bush thing to do. Very
We're
American.
gonna nuke it.
Gonna nuke it.
We're gonna
Nuclear.
nuke it, and then we're gonna blame the Wendigos.
Nuclear.
Make me look.
Listen, if you find the cave, gotta contact me. And then we're gonna nuke it. And we're gonna wait for the radiation
Now you sound like Bill Clinton.
McDonald's. Wait for those radiation levels to
did
go
not-
I
down.
did not have
Sexual relations with that
woman.
Wendigo.
How long does it take for radiation levels to go down? 60 years?
But I
100?
did nuke that cave.
I did nuke that cave for the greater good of all humanity.
Don't go down in that cave.
Monica,
You'll be fine. It's only 3.6 Roken.
listen. Every cave that we nuke, we're gonna call it Sharon.
I'll give you 400 rubles to go down in that cave and kill them wendigos.
I'll give you 400
Oh, I don't know if
rubles
400 rubles
to
is
check
worth
that
it,
cave
Chief.
after we nuke it to make sure they're all dead. Who knows? They could be like cockroaches.
Oh, but Pa, they're not playing Country Roads on the radio. I can't go down there.
Oh,
Don't worry about the radiation, little boy. Little boy, go in the cave.
oh boy, mister.
Get in the man.
No more of that, please.
Oh, God.
My brain can't handle it.
We really devolved there.
This was a good episode.
This is a
Yeah.
very good episode. Maybe
there
we
were
should
no video games at all.
maybe we should come in unprepared more.
Hey, you guys hear about the video game called The Forest?
No.
It's
Yes.
just like
Never.
it's just like The Descent,
Wow.
but a video game.
So maybe we should talk about some more video games.
Alright.
So, what's a video game?
Y'all play Divinity.
We did play Divinity. Divinity's good. That-
Divinity is really good.
Okay.
Yeah, you can unlock doors with your bony finger,
Oh,
Yeah,
God, no.
just like that woman from Gerald's game.
just like that woman. And yeah,
Yeah.
solid RPG. That's probably about all I can say about it.
Lovely turn-based combat,
Lovely.
environmental hazards.
Kale, please tell me you have something else to
Please
say
help
than
us.
these people.
Cheesy romances.
Okay. Alright.
Oh yeah, Fame, cheesy romance. You can do
You
things
can
with your
romance the
tongue.
bone.
Do things with your tongue
Are you
to the bone.
romancing the bone?
I unintentionally romanced the bone because I put my hand on his shoulder, and Fame was like, "Is this some kind of mating ritual?" And
Yeah,
I was like,
I did that too.
I'll
and
see
I
where
said,
this
no, I do
goes."
not wish to romance the bone.
Did you take off your glove hand?
"Oh,
and then
oh."
clack?
Oh, I clickety clacked every bone on Fame's bony body.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah.
I took off his rings too.
Clickety
You put
clack,
them in a
clickety
box.
clack.
I did not put him in a box. I just put them on my bony finger.
Man,
Hot.
that's romantic.
Good episode.
Good episode.
Well,
We kind of all just played Divinity.
I played Overwatch and Final Fantasy 15, and Overwatch had a new update.
Aren't they having the anniversary event?
I thought the last event was the anniversary event, so I was surprised when this event started happening. I was like, oh shit, because the last event was just like a few weeks ago.
Gotta get those skins.
Diva has a schoolgirl skin.
I did see that.
But I want her other skin because it looks nice.
Well, I don't need the schoolgirl skin because I bought the catgirl skin.
You bought the cat. I actually kind of like that skin.
Yeah.
I've been wearing the cola skin for since I've gotten it.
See, I almost got that when that was a thing, but then I copped out like a coward, the coward I am.
I only need to win 9 games.
Yeah.
Not even in
I got 8.
You could have just won 1 more game.
I copped out because I was like, I'm done with Overwatch.
Man, I like that skin a lot though. Final Fantasy 15 is fun and disappointing as it always is.
I mean, that's kind of
I
it.
played Warframe.
Oh, you did play Warframe.
There was an update, and so I had to.
You don't sound very excited.
No, actually, it's a good update. There's good content.
He's addicted, you see, whenever there's
Shut
an update.
up. Listen, it's
Even
fine.
if he's not going to play it, he tells me
stop.
about it. He's like,
Listen, there's like
"Want
a,
to hear about
a
the Wolf
small...
Wave update?" And I'm like, no, I
There's
don't
a
want to hear
small
about
little
it.
hope that you'll start playing it again, because...
Okay, but telling me about every single there are a lot of updates. Telling me about every single update and how the this gun was fixed to be a little better. Like, I don't fucking give a shit.
Maybe distance makes a heart grow fonder.
Yeah, maybe just leave it to mystery. I'm all about that wonder and shit. Just leave it to wonder. To the point where I myself am like, wonder what Warframe is added.
I
actually don't
that would
like
happen.
being told about all the new things, because then I know about it. I want to be able to jump in and be like, well, there's a bunch of new stuff, and I don't know what it is,
Oh my
but it's
God,
there.
I'm going to have to wait like 6 whole months until another major update.
Get over it.
How rude.
Final Fantasy had an update where they did a thing with 14.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 14 got those shitty cars, but...
Hold on, did you say Final Fantasy?
Why do you do this to me? This is why I sacrificed you to the zombies.
Whatever, man. You're falling down that cave.
But, I'm bringing your ass with me. You're gonna be surprised when I grab onto your ankle and we're both falling to our death. But they had a crossover, and there was like a cat girl, and you had to help her with the mission of something. I don't know. You fought like a god, whatever. But the point is...
Just casually fight a god.
Yeah. I mean, it's Final Fantasy. You fight gods a lot.
Yeah.
Or with them.
I don't know much about Final Fantasy, but I know you can ride giant chickens
You
called
can.
chocobos.
There was a fat chocobo from 14 transported into 15. And
Ooh,
they're
no,
like,
that
why
chocobo
is it so
thick.
chonk? Mm-hmm.
Chonk.
Chonkobo.
Everyone here's retarded. Okay.
But
I don't want to be
At the
retarded.
at the end of the mission, you got a reward, and everybody has like different outfits. Like Ignis has like an elven, class 0 outfit, and Gladio has like the fucking like big guy's outfit. Prompto, I think they gave him a human outfit, but Noctis, they gave him one of the Catboy outfits, and now he has ears and black ears and black tail.
Hot.
And it suits him, but it pisses me off. It pisses me off so much because I hate his
Oh my
douchebaggy
God.
face. And his
Ew.
voice actor didn't do that great of a job in this
Woo,
role.
but I'm a queenie.
Anyways, I forgot who fucking voices Noctis, but he's always like casted as like angsty anime boy roles, and his voice just isn't it for me. I like his voice, but I don't think he should do those roles.
Good voice, no angst.
He has too much angst. He voices Eve
Good
in
voice,
Nier
too much
Automata.
angst.
Oh.
Oh.
That's bad.
That explains too much.
His name is Ray Chase.
Ray Chase.
Ray Chase?
Ray Chase.
Like his real name?
Ray
Maybe.
Chase.
Ray
Dirk
Chase.
Bentley, people have weird ass names.
They sure do, like Ray Chase.
Ray Chase.
Ray Chase.
Wretches.
Why?
Why?
Basically, the way he voice acts, he'll be like, spoilers for Final Fantasy 15, but he'll be like, the city fell. He'll be like, no. What are we supposed to do? And they're like, calm down, Noctis. And he's like, no! You're
I mean,
And I'm like, this ain't it, Chief.
dude sounds like he's always degloving his hand
He does.
at any given moment.
He does.
Ugh!
Yeah, that's him.
Very breathy emo boy.
He sounds like he has bones for fingers.
Always in pain.
This is fun. This is a train wreck. Just make it stop, okay? Make this pain stop.
You know, I don't think we have anything else to talk about.
Oh my god.
This is probably time we wrap this episode up. Thanks again for listening to the Leftovers podcast. Be sure to follow us on Twitter for updates on the episodes and maybe some other stuff. And also, you can find us on iTunes and Google Play. We could really use some listens on those so I can track stats. Or we can track stats. And yeah, thanks again. See you next Wednesday. Bye.